Hello and welcome to another episode in the Echo Studios podcast series. Today we're joined by CouchFerret, a game development YouTuber with just over 10,000 subscribers. Please introduce yourself.
Hey, what's up, game developers? CouchFerret here, and welcome to Echo Studios' awesome podcast about game development.
So, you've been doing game development on YouTube for just under a year. Can you tell us about what the journey has been like so far?
Oh boy, where should I start? So, my journey was it kind of started slow, because I started last September, like September the 1st. It's like a epic date I keep in mind always. So I started there then, and for the first few months it was like tough work because I've never really done anything with videos and audio stuff, but I got a lot of positive comments, and the whole audience was like pretty happy about my content. So I just went like kind of all in on it, and I started to build like a small studio and make uh, better quality or more quality stuff. And it's now in like this fall it just went crazy a bit, because I always look at YouTube stuff like a whole exponential game, and I think you will also kind of feel it in like in within a year, or I hope within months, and not you don't have to wait a year. It's pretty exponential, so it's kind of starts slow and it's like grows a lot after that. So now I'm at it's about 12,000 subscribers already, and it's just crazy. I mean, I've never really imagined to reach that many people, and the watch minutes and the comments and everything is just like surreal. But it's a hell of a ride. I really like it, and I want to like go and make even more videos.
I can't wait to see them.
Yeah, I mean, me too.
So, most of your YouTube videos have been based around this game that you've been working on. For those of us who haven't actually been watching your series, can you tell us more about this?
So my my initial idea was uh, so when I created the channel, and I was thinking about content, that okay, what kind of content should I do? I looked around and I saw a lot of devlogs and a lot of tutorials on certain topics, but there were very few actual series of videos on one game, or like creating a game from scratch and like almost finish it or even publish it. So basically my videos is about my game. It's called Bowhand. It's a top-down archery game, and my general idea is to show every step while I'm developing the game, and basically you can recreate step by step what I'm doing and end up with the same game or very similar to it. And and also it isn't just like, okay, like a time lapse of doing the game or creating the game. I also talk about the theory and why am I doing certain stuff. Like I really do enjoy drawing on packaging papers and explaining a lot of stuff on that. Uh, so it's a top-down archery game, and I plan to release it on PC and a Nintendo Switch. That's the main goal. I think in like mid 2020, and I want to put most of it to YouTube, upload it, and just show others the whole process, because I think for newcomers it's really hard to see. I mean, you can find a lot of tutorials on certain topics, but it's hard to see how those knowledge or those stuff can be put together and how to actually make one game. So yeah,
It's certainly important to find a niche in YouTube,
yeah,
something that makes you really stand out and to make unique, high
definitely,
quality content.
yeah. Yeah.
And when I first started watching your videos, I noticed he has a style and he's going with this one theme of this one game, and that makes it really easy to follow along. So basically, your content makes it easy to binge watch your videos.
Thank you. I mean, I kind of have a dilemma here because if somebody follows all of my videos and the whole series, that's perfect. That's good. But if somebody just want to tune in for one video, it's pretty hard to give the previous stuff, like pretty hard for them to actually join the series. So I still thinking about solving this problem, to how to like recap for newcomers, because I can't really uh, make them to watch the whole series, and I mean, that's not feasible. So want everybody want to watch the whole series, just the certain topics, and still my videos should be helpful for those kind of game developers as well, and not just the binge watching ones. But I really like that I have a few binge watching ones.
Well, you have me on that side.
Thank you.
But I can also tell you that what I would recommend is maybe making a channel trailer for those who are new to your channel, and that maybe encourage them to watch this series. And you could also make standalone videos talking about Unity or similar, whatever you're interested in, as a way to sort of give a demonstration of your content, not in a series form.
Yeah, that's a pretty good idea. I'm just lazy and behind my schedule on that, because I always wanted to have a trailer video, and now I'm just putting the most recent one because why not? But actually I will have my first video that it's not in the series, that won't be in the series, in December, about how to learn Unity.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Like learning materials and stuff. So yeah, I'm pretty excited too. So yeah, that would be fun. And I think in the future I'll be kind of opening up to a more general audience, like having a few videos on certain topics. But I don't know. I kind of aim for beginners and like intermediate, but not really like very advanced people.
Fair enough. So moving on to the first planned topic we had today, which is Unity 2020. So obviously you were at Unite Copenhagen. Tell us something that excites you most about what you saw on the keynote.
Well, all the 2D stuff, because they plan to release 2D renderer and 2D lights. Actually, that's like 2D native, and you won't have to like put 3D lights in the 2D game. And yeah, I'm pretty excited on the 2D stuff, because they showed a lot of dynamic, a lot of flexibility on those lights, and a lot of features that, like, come on, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Like, you can actually like sculpt the lights and make them blend and overlap in a good way, because if you like make 2 lights overlap, like simple lights, it will just blow away. It would be like way too overexposed or way too white. But they somehow solve this problem with like some kind of blending. So yeah, I'm pretty excited on the 2D stuff. That's one main field or topic that I'm really excited about. But the other huge thing is I guess is the new UI, because I think they will redo it in 2019.3, but also redo it in 2020 as well, and they showed 2 different versions. I don't remember that well, but the one from 2020 just looked like slick, very slick.
Yeah, I've seen some videos and it just looks really smooth, and I can't wait to be using that.
Yeah, it's almost like it's pretty similar to what Blender did with their UI redesign. I don't know, have you? Are you using Blender?
I've used it a few times, but to be honest, I've never been too impressed by their UI. But unless they've updated it since I last
Yeah,
used it.
they had a huge update very recently because
Oh,
yeah, I weren't I wasn't really satisfied with the UI either.
I just don't like that sort of grey color. That's sort of so plain and boring and
Yeah,
doesn't really stand out. But that's why Unity Dark Mode is just so smooth.
yeah, yeah. But they still keep it for pro users. God damn it! God damn it!
I still feel like Unity Pro is just a bit on the pricey side.
Yeah, and I think you have to like sign up for a year, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for a dark, only for a dark theme, that's a bit.
And the ability to export games without getting them made in
Yeah,
Unity
yeah,
watermark,
yeah. The splash screen.
which, to be honest, is worth paying for.
Yeah, yeah,
So, going back to Unity 2020,
yeah.
they obviously announced this dot system.
Hmm.
Uh, Tell us more about that. I obviously don't know that much about it, but tell us what you know about it and what you feel about it.
My my knowledge on dots is kind of vague or very general, I guess. I don't want to say like incorrect stuff, but kind of have like a general idea how that system would work or how will it work. I never actually looked into it in detail, but it's more like I wouldn't say it's data driven because that's different. So basically, they want to batch, like group together entities and make changes on them at the same time, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But I should have really looked it up already because it's like I don't know, it's like a 2 year old. I mean they announced it like 2 years ago. I don't know. So basically, they're kind of batching the entities together, and so at that point it would be easier, I guess, to make it parallel, so like multi-threaded,
Mm-hmm.
because now you have generally have one main thread that can access the Unity API, but I think they kind of have tricks, or I mean, I think they kind of make it multi-threaded somehow, and they always talk about the burst compiler and the C# job system. Mm, so
It seems like they're doing a lot with sort of optimization and speed with
yeah,
Unity
yeah, yeah,
because it can be slow, man. It can be really slow.
yeah, yeah, because the mono behavior is like not really efficient in large scale. I mean, it's easy
Mm-hmm.
to get into it, so that will be my. So I'm kind of afraid and curious how they will pull it off, like the whole ECS and dots thing, because it's like a whole new way of thinking, and I don't know how beginner friendly it is, but it looks like they generally want to move into that direction instead of keeping the mono behavior stuff.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, I think I have a lot of work on creating dots and ECS tutorials, I guess. But I'm not an expert on the topic yet. Yeah,
Well, it's a relatively new feature, so I don't think anyone would expect you to be an expert. Speaking of things that are way more user friendly and beginner friendly, visual scripting.
yeah, visual scripting.
Just after Unreal sort of had their blueprinting system, which was very successful, Unity comes out with this. And to be honest, I'm a massive fan of it. It's a great way for people to start out using Unity and to learn more about programming as they get into game development.
Definitely, I definitely agree with that sentence because it kind of looks more friendly, if that makes sense. I mean, code for a non-programmer or a developer or somebody who is newcomer. So actually, like script, like C# could be like very frightening, I guess.
Daunting.
Daunting. Yeah, yeah, that's a better one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because when I started game development, all I could think about was I don't want to be writing out tons of lines of code. I don't want to have error messages. I don't want to have the stress of sitting down and trying to find where these bugs are. Obviously, you'd still have that with visual scripting, but it's less of sort of a mess of text and more of sort of something you can drag around and look around. It's a lot more there for you to look at.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I really like everything that has like nodes in it. I mean, like it's a node-based system, I guess. Like you like put down an if node or a for node or like loop node or something like that, and just like dragging stuff into the, I don't know how would you call that, like
the workspace.
Yeah, the workspace. So I'm kind of happy that they will introduce it, because yeah, I like every day I have friends or other people that I met, or they always say that, oh, coding, it looks so foreign and looks so difficult, and they never actually tried it, and they won't try it, or it will be hard to make them try and learn. They just, it's, I don't know why, but the whole programming and scripting stuff, so people who don't really into these kind of things, they think it's like a very difficult thing. But my idea or my opinion on this topic is that basically everybody can already code, like not code, think in a algorithmic way.
Yeah.
And they just have to learn to like write it down.
Yeah, that's put really well, actually. So, for example, my father was always very enthusiastic about getting me into programming. He always said, it's the future of the world. There's going to be robots, there's going to be software, there's going to be everything.
Mm-hmm.
And he directed me to a website called Hour of Code. I don't know if you've ever heard of it. Which is, of course, Hour of Code.
No.
And it was basically this website where you would put together blocks and make things happen. So it was kind of like a game development kind of thing. So they'd say, make sure the zombie gets from here to here by doing, if this happens, turn this way, and if this happens, turn this way. And that was the very introduction of my sort of programming world. And then I moved on to Scratch, and I'm pretty sure we all know what Scratch is.
Mm-hmm.
And then from Scratch, I moved on to actually learning more about syntax and how programming works, binary. If you sort of take things step by step and learning more and more about the way that programming works, it's a lot easier when you finally get to it. So when I finally started learning C# in school and then applied that in Unity, I was able to get the hang of it much, much quicker. So it's really important to have a learning process which builds the blocks and sets this pace for you to further your skills.
Yeah. So now you kind of feel confident in C#?
I'd say I feel confident in console C#, and I know enough about the syntax to see where I've made errors a lot more clearly than I could have before. And when I'm learning stuff about the Unity library, I can pick it up much, much quicker. Mm-hmm. So it sort of increases my learning speed.
That's cool.
How long have you been doing game development for again?
Well, that's a hard question, because I kind of, it was seasonal in most of my life. So I think I made my first game in early 2000s. Like I made my first game was in Flash. It was a Flash game, but it was still a Macromedia Flash and not Adobe. So they actually
long time ago.
Yeah, it was like Macromedia Flash MX something, and it was like ActionScript, the previous version. So it was like, I think it's like 2002, 4, something like that. And
before I was even born. Wow.
Wow. That's crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I made a few Flash games. Even I had a job, like not a job, like a contract stuff, and I put together like some kind of resting game. But then I stopped doing game dev stuff, and I went for a more general programming stuff, like more general direction, especially in university as well. So yeah, I think I had like years of gaps in it, like in my whole game development journey,
But a
because
long time to learn.
yeah, that's true. That's true. Because it definitely helped that I mostly programmed in my whole life. So I I was always doing some kind of script or something. So yeah,
Yet
but
again, building up the blocks to understand and to learn more.
yeah, definitely. And then at university with the low level stuff, it really made the picture way more clearer, because we actually had to made a compiler. So we actually made a compiler for a new language, and we came up with the language itself. So after that point, it was really fun. But after that point, it made the whole thing way more clearer for me. And
it's pretty intense.
Yeah. So so I guess you are planning to go for like a university of like some kind of IT or like programming university, like software development. Is that right?
I mean, I'm sort of torn between sort of game development or computer science related degree and a business related degree, because both are major interest points of mine. And if there was a way to combine them, then I'd be unbelievably interested. So if there's some kind of tech business thing going around, it's perfect for me.
Yeah, that would be valuable. That would be a valuable program or degree.
But yeah, I mean, anything to do with tech is important, and anything to do with business will benefit you massively in the workplace.
Yeah.
It's the kind of degrees that I don't understand are like degrees in agriculture. Because if you're going to go into like the plant-based sort of industry, wouldn't you do something more biological rather than just agriculture?
Mm-hmm.
I'm going into like an aggressive attack on farmers now, but
I mean, probably they won't tune in anyway. So yeah. So
all right. So
okay. Go on.
Do you think we should move on to the Q&A areas?
Oh, we could.
We can always talk more afterwards. I can piece it all together.
Yeah.
So, all right, give me a sec. So let's move on to the Q&A section. And the first question is, what's your favorite game and why?
Man, that's a pretty tough question, actually.
There's so many good games out there.
Yeah, so many good games out there, and I usually seasonal. So I have like seasonal favorite games. So
tell us your seasonal favorite games then.
It's seasonal in a way that like I play a game for like half a year or a year, and then I actually go all in on that game, and then I move to another one. But the recent one was Dota Auto Chess. I don't know. Have you heard about that?
I haven't. Tell me about it.
So it's very interesting because it's like, so Dota Auto Chess is a mod in Dota 2, and it actually created a new genre. They call it Auto Battler. So you haven't heard about Auto Battlers either?
I haven't. I've been kind of absent from the gaming community over the last few months due to my hyper focus on Echo Studios, but go ahead and tell me about it.
So basically, Auto Battlers are a strategy multiplayer game, I would say, because it's really similar, or in like mechanics wise, it's similar to those team manager games like Football Manager or something like that.
Great game, by the way.
Yeah. So
one of my favorite games of all time.
Then I think you should actually like try one of the Auto Battlers out there, because I think you will have like a great time with those.
I'll try it out.
So it's basically you assemble a team and like on a chessboard, and then you send that team to fight against somebody else's team, and based on your results you will get like some kind of currency and experience point, and you can use those to buy new, they call it chess pieces, but buy new characters, because in the original mode, the Dota Auto Chess mode, it was like Dota characters, like champions, or I don't know. I was more like a League of Legends guy, so I don't know how they call it in Dota. But yeah, basically you just improve your team and go against like 7 or 9 other players, because when you lose, you actually take damage, and you have 100 HP, I think. And when you go below 0, then you're out of the game. So so like a whole season, if we compare it to like the Football Manager or something, so it's like a whole game is like 45 minutes or maybe an hour long, and it's like last man standing, because eventually everybody will lose their HP.
Got it.
So that's it. And actually it's a pretty new genre, and all the major game studios just jumping on it, because so Valve released the Dota Underlords based on that, and Riot released the Teamfight Tactics, and I think now Hearthstone as well announced.
Oh God.
Yeah, they announced at BlizzCon, because BlizzCon was like last week or this week, I don't know. So it's very recent, and they announced that Hearthstone will have a mod that's basically an auto battler. So everybody just jumping into this new genre, and that's like, it's pretty interesting, because it's like when the MOBAs kind of born, and we can
really latching onto the trends.
Yeah, but it's way faster than the MOBAs were, because I remember it was in July this year when I think Valve announced that okay, they will release Dota Underlords in, I guess, July, and Riot was just like, okay, we will release it too. We will release it too as well, and they just released it.
Okay, so pretty much answers the question. Let's move on to the next one, which is, who would you most love to collaborate with?
Well, the first person who comes to my mind is Noah, aka Black from Pod. I think you guys know him.
About to.
Yeah. So, I actually I saw him grow from 15,000 to like how many?
180,000, I think.
Jeez, that's a lot. So I saw him grow, and he's just like such a genuine guy. And after I met him at Unite, it was like, yeah, he's a pretty good guy. I mean, if life were some kind of RPG game, then he would definitely have some kind of positive aura, like a buff, like a positive buff to like cheer everybody up and motivate everybody. He has like pretty great potential in motivational speaking and stuff like that, but he has like a god mode side as well.
Awesome. I mean, I'd love to collaborate with him as well. He seems like such a nice guy.
Yeah.
He obviously puts a lot of work into his videos. He's got art, he's got development, and he's got a team behind him, which is family as well, which is always a benefit.
I think he's working with his brother.
Yeah, Liam.
Yeah, and I think Liam manages most of the business stuff and programming sometimes, because they had like courses together.
That's what I've heard, yeah.
But Noah's art style is like, I really like his art style. It's pretty unique.
Super recognizable.
Yeah, it's super recognizable, and if it's not too dark, it's vivid actually. I mean, either he has some kind of very dark stuff or very vivid stuff. I don't know. Have you played his game?
I haven't played it, but I've watched tons of videos on it, and I watched Jonas Tyroller's live stream on it.
Hmm.
I know enough about the Dreadful Whispers.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
a very iconic game in its art style. You could recognize it anywhere.
Yeah.
Next question. What do you prefer, programming or awesome game design, and why?
That's an easy one, man. That's an easy one. Of course, it's game design. I mean, everybody wants to be like an idea guy, just throwing ideas, just coming up like dreaming all day long about cool mechanics and words and everything. So I think game design, but I mean, game design could be difficult if you try to actually like polish it to make it like perfect or something. Like it's hard to design like a fun experience because usually everybody thinks that game design is just like coming up with an idea and then just and I just said the same thing as well like a minute ago. So yeah, I would prefer game design because yeah, that's more fun even if you just like tweaking like very little character stats to make it right. But programming could be fun as well. I mean, I I have a lot of years in programming, so it kind of lost its shine for me, I guess. But still, it's a good feeling to write to make a script or like
Yeah,
code something and it just hit play or just run it and it works like it should.
yeah,
So yeah, I would say game design because that's one of the main reason I came back to game development to not just program every day. So not just being a programmer like a full-time programmer, because yeah,
yeah,
making games is fun and it has like it's a lot of different fields and it requires a lot of different skills as well.
Well,
So
yeah, as a solo game developer, you've got to do the music, you've got to do the sound, you've got to do
yeah.
the art, you've got to do the programming, you've got to do the game design. Speaking of which, do you plan out your game design on paper or using any other softwares before you actually get into it on Unity?
Sometimes yes, sometimes no, but I definitely should plan out everything. Basically, now I have a set of features and time estimates on them, but
Mm-hmm.
it's not like a game design document because, uh, yeah, I'm kind of lazy to put down a game design document. But yeah,
I've dealt with enough game design documents over the last few months. It's been painful.
yeah.
We've had
So
so many rejected game ideas, so we've sort of locked up so many things and then got nothing out of it.
I mean, at least you were talking about or like yeah discussing the game ideas.
Yeah,
So you but you're still creating game design documents, yeah?
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So, got to do it. Keep organized. Keep
Mm,
learning.
mm. I'm more like skipping that phase, kinda.
It's
And
less important as a solo game developer, though, because
yeah,
you don't
that's
have to
true.
explain it to other people as much.
Yeah, that's true. But that's the like a curse of it as well because it's my idea, and I don't know if it's like good or not. But I don't have other people to like. I mean, my brother helps with game design stuff, so we have a lot of usually we have a lot of discussion on like the features and the whole mechanics, and we kind of agree in like in so we don't actually write those ideas down in like very in detail like in a game design document, but we come up with like something. So that I usually just plan for features and kind of a roadmap with time estimates, and that's my goal. It's not that organized, I guess, but who knows?
Do you use stuff like Trello?
I used to. No, I mean I usually I switch productivity tools every other month or so. So I used to use Trello a lot. Now I'm using Amazing Marvin. That's similar to Trello. But yeah, I definitely use stuff like these to actually get stuff done because.
All right.
Yeah.
So now a more controversial question. Why do you use Mac over Windows? I myself am an Apple user, so I get exactly where you're coming from, but explain to everyone.
So you're an Apple user or an Apple fanboy as well?
I'm an Apple fanboy and an Apple user.
Oh, you admit it. That's respect. Respect. So I it's pretty recent thing, like the last 3 years I've been using Macs, and before that never actually, or very very rarely. It came with my general programming job because I have to jump between remote servers daily, and the terminal capabilities of Macs or the OS X is way better than like Windows.
Command prompt.
Yeah. Command prompt. I mean, I use dedicated terminal applications, but still, yeah, and it runs some kind of shell script as well. So it's very technical. So I won't go into details, but that's the boring answer. I use Apple stuff and Mac stuff. It's like the good part of Windows merged with good part of Linux. So it gets the good stuff from Linux and Windows and leave out the bad stuff because it's very similar to Linux, but it works out of the box usually.
I mean, I've got only one issue with using Mac, and that's just that not many other people use it online for tutorials. So they're always like, open up command prompt or open up this or do this. And I'm like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
So it's always a nightmare. Which is why a while ago I created a Minecraft modding Discord server and a community and a YouTube channel. And we made videos on Mac using IntelliJ as our IDE for Java and not Eclipse. And then we did it using an obscure library instead of Forge, which is the standard Minecraft modding library API. And it gave us, as we were talking about earlier, a real niche in that area. That's basically it.
But why do you use Macs? I mean, how?
I mean, my dad just sort of got them from work, and everyone just knows Mac's better than Windows. So.
If you want to see more of my stuff, you can check out me on YouTube at as CouchFerret Makes Games. But I think first you should check out more videos by Echo Studios because they will have a lot of good podcasts with a lot of interesting people. So yeah, definitely subscribe to them. I've already done it, and you should too. So yeah, that's it. Goodbye, and thank you for tuning in.